statement during the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the US. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reiterated his message for the world peace. He has called for the reforms in top global institutions at the UN General Assembly. He has also stated that reform is the key to relevance, speaking at the Summit of the Future. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also said that the success of humanity lies in our collective strength and not in the battlefield. UN has adopted an action plan and statement of goals to tackle 21st century challenges called the Pact for the Future. The pact includes a global digital compact and also a declaration on the future generation. It also covers a range of topics from the UN and UN Security Council reform to human rights and digital cooperation, including AI governance. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message comes after the UNGA, which has adopted the Pact for Future. So there we have a big message for world peace by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he completed his ambitious visit to the US. Joining me at this point of time is my colleague Arzu. Arzu, you know, there is in fact a very key message that has been given from the platform of the world by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where he has said that reform is the key to the relevance, and there is also in fact a lot of focus on maintaining the peace and dialogue for the relations with the friendly nations is also talked about.
Well, Simran, if we see, you know, one thing is very clear that in Modi's third term, the topmost priority is to, you know, to bring the peace in the Europe area, and the same message is being delivered while addressing the, you know, UN General Assembly. Prime Minister has delivered a message of global peace, stating that the humanity's success lies in collective strength and not on the battlefield. And addressing the Summit of the Future at the UN General Assembly, PM Modi said that, you know, success of humanity lies in our collective strength and not on the battlefield. And for global peace and development, reform in global institutions are important. This is the important point that the PM Modi has mentioned, and also reform is the key to relevance. This is also what Prime Minister added. So Prime Minister, who was in the US for the 3-day visit, had several bilateral meetings with the you know, global leaders. He also had a discussion with Joe Biden about his recent visit to Ukraine during their bilateral talks, and also Biden commented PM Modi's visit to the Ukraine and his message of peace, according to the joint fact sheet that was released after the meeting. And at the summit also, Prime Minister also highlighted how India has elevated people out of poverty, you know, through sustainable development. And PM also spoke about the rising threat of cybercrime. While terrorism continues to be a serious threat to global peace and security, on the other hand, there are areas such as cyber, maritime and space are emerging as a new threat for the conflict, and global action must, you know, must match the final ambition, he said. So there were a very strong message given by a Prime Minister for the global peace. Yes, Simran.
All right, Arzu, thank you for sharing the latest. In fact, I'll also like to ask my guest to join me on the broadcast. JS Sodhi, Colonel JS Sodhi joins me now. Sir, in fact, you know, this has been reiterated again by Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the message on world peace. And also that there are, of course, at the UN General Assembly, there is a reform that has been now emphasized by Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the key to relevance. And this in fact is very important, given the fact a host of bilateral meetings with the head of states and also important leaders from across the globe has happened at the UN General Assembly. You know, he was speaking at the Summit of the Future, and these statements have quite literally made an impact worldwide.
Jai Hind, Simran. It's my honor to be on your esteemed channel. India has always stood for global peace and prosperity, as is evident by a centuries-old Sabhyata, Sanskriti and Sanskar, where always we have talked of global peace, not only today, but since centuries. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech at the historic Summit of Future conference in the United Nations once again brings forth to the point that India is the harbinger of world peace. As on today, the global population is 8.1 billion, and out of which 2 billion people are at war or conflicts with each other. Hence, Prime Minister's call for reforms in the United Nations also assume greater significance, because with 1/6 of the global population residing in India, it is time that India should be made as a permanent member of the United Nations. Rather, I would like to further say that United Nations, which always talks of democracy, doesn't have democracy within its organization because of the veto power that it has given to the permanent 5 nations. Hence, apart from making India a permanent member, this veto system should also go away so that every country has an equal right in deciding what is good for the global peace and global prosperity.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.